Anthony Albanese's commitment to fighting anti-Semitism lasted 24 hours, just long enough to get his beleaguered Immigration Minister Andrew Giles off the front page. Is that too cynical an observation? I hope so. Yesterday, Albanese stood shoulder to shoulder with Peter Dutton, calling out anti-Semitism, and in particular, the Greens' contribution to it. I'll get to the Greens in a moment, but here's Anthony Albanese yesterday.
There is no place for anti-Semitism, prejudice of any sort, Islamophobia in our communities, at our universities or outside electorate offices.
Hear, hear. But today, the PM shut down a debate on holding an inquiry into anti-Semitism on university campuses, proving once again there are actions and there are words, and when it comes to fighting anti-Semitism, Albanese is all talk. Liberal MP Julian Leeser called for an inquiry to investigate whether the response to anti-Semitism on campuses had been adequate. Here he is speaking this morning.
The massive increase in campus anti-Semitism since October 7 has included Jewish students being spat at and taunted with swastikas, the office of Jewish staff members being urinated on, academics saying that Jews don't deserve cultural safety, academics denying that the rapes on 7 October even occurred, the failure of university leaders to deal properly with anti-Semitism, including dealing with encampments, Vice-Chancellors implying that hate-fuelled protests are just the price Jewish students have to pay for free speech, and a collective statement from 39 university chancellors which was so weak it didn't even mention the words Jew or anti-Semitism.
But the government, which just a day earlier had been all shook up over anti-Semitism, voted to delay any inquiry, preferring that if something was done, it'd be a little more, shall we say, broad, by which I mean less focused on Jews. Labor wants a general anti-racism inquiry that will look at how Jews are being treated for sure, but also how Muslims are being treated, how the Indigenous are being treated, and I suppose how any other group is being treated, the effect of which, and I dare say the goal, would be to dilute the problem of anti-Semitism. Julian Leeser was understandably outraged.
Can I say, as a Jewish Australian, I am so sick and tired of this government, the Human Rights Commission, universities and other bodies in Australia being unable to say anti-Semitism without saying Islamophobia in the same breath. Yeah. To fail to singularly identify and call out the particularity of anti-Semitism, and indeed the largest increase in anti-Semitism in our history, in and of itself is anti-Semitic.
Julian Leeser is absolutely right. We don't hear politicians say there's no room for racism against blacks or whites. We don't hear them say there's no room for bigotry against gays or straights. We don't hear them say there's no place for hate against trans people or women. And we don't hear them say there's no place for vilifying Muslims or Catholics. But every time they mention anti-Semitism, they feel compelled to provide balance by also mentioning Islamophobia.
There is no place for anti-Semitism, prejudice of any sort, Islamophobia.
What there's no place for is anti-Semitism or Islamophobia.
So there is, at the moment, legal protection against anti-Semitism. What I will say, though, is at the moment, at a national level, we have no legal protections on Islamophobia.
Anti-Semitism has no place in Australia. Islamophobia has no place in Australia.
Blatant anti-Semitism and Islamophobia.
I'm very concerned about the rise in anti-Semitism. I'm concerned about Islamophobia.
Seriously, when you're trying to provide balance to the issue of Jew hatred, well, as Julian Leeser pointed out, that's how you hate on Jews, even as you pretend to condemn the hatred of Jews. Greens leader Adam Bandt, well, he's a classic at it.
The Greens condemn anti-Semitism. The Greens condemn Islamophobia. The Greens condemn the invasion of Gaza.
Now, both major parties called out the Greens yesterday for stirring up hateful pro-Palestinian rallies. The Prime Minister was particularly incensed, but Adam Bandt, well, he claims he's done nothing wrong.
Protesters have been blockading Anthony Albanese's electoral office in Marrickville in Sydney's inner west all year, and the PM has had enough.
Enough is enough.
Anthony Albanese has accused Greens senators and MPs
who have engaged in this in demonstrations outside offices and online.
Greens leader Adam Bandt insists MPs from his party have not been involved in pro-Palestinian protests at the offices of Labor MPs.
Greens MPs have not been involved in that.
Actually, Mr Bandt, your own deputy leader made a video back in February standing right outside the Prime Minister's office, urging people to get down there for a round-the-clock protest.
I have the Greens with me from the Greens. These incredible people from Families for Palestine, PSA, Justice for Palestine and Palestine Action Group are picketing outside the Prime Minister's office to again give him a very strong message that Labour is complicit and cowardly in this mission of genocide that Israel is conducting against Palestinians. So please come and join them outside Prime Minister Albanese's office.
So contrary to Adam Bandt's protestations, clearly the Greens have been encouraging pro-Palestinian protesters to picket MPs' electorate offices, the Prime Minister's no less. Now, notice in the video that Adam Bandt's deputy leader specifically mentions the Palestine Action Group, calling them incredible people. Well, here's some of those incredible people spreading love and harmony in Sydney's Hyde Park on Sunday.
This colony is literally being run by genocidal maniacs, these soulless politicians that celebrate Indigenous blood being spilt on a daily basis. Whether that's Albanese, the war criminal, whether that's Penny Wong, the Gaza butcher, whether that's Chris Minns, the genocidal maniac, we will never forget how you celebrated the Palestinian genocide in 1948 while defending the Gazan genocide in 2024.
This same group, whom the Greens deputy leader called brave and courageous, then went on to praise Hamas.
They declare terra nullius here in so-called Australia, and in Gaza they are repeating that they are freeing the Palestinian people from Hamas, which, no matter what you think of them, are the only current entity fighting for the Palestinian people.
And of course, no peaceful gathering of concerned citizens would be complete without a good old-fashioned chant honouring terrorists as glorious martyrs.
Glory, glory to our martyrs!
The Greens support these groups. The Greens promote these groups. Tell me again how they're fit to be in Parliament. So, when Anthony Albanese was asked today if he would rule out any future deals to form government with the help of the Greens, what do you think he said? Well, he didn't rule it out, did he? Always politics, never principle. He's not called each way elbow for nothing.